that we're like working on building a pilot with a certain institution on is around dark pools.
This is the new era of data that we're headed into. You can feel the shift happening in the XRP community.
And then a third one I'm very interested in that we're like working on building a pilot with a certain institution on is around dark pools. So in TradFi, you have these kind of private ledgers where there's like privacy, but there's a lack of fairness guarantees. So what's interesting is crypto has fairness guarantees with smart contracts, but we lack the privacy. And so if someone can make an on-chain dark pool that has fairness guarantees and privacy guarantees and has liquidity, you actually have a structurally better product. So
alrighty, what is going on? So that gentleman there stems from a organization that just attended the Capital Summit that just recently took place. Shout out to the researchers for this. The reason why I played that little tiny video clip is because the gentleman goes on to talk about dark pools. Time and time again, dark pools are oddly enough, something in crypto that is too frequently ignored by the average retail investor. But inside the private CyberX community, of course, we have as a mentor that has over 13 years of hedge fund experience and has built our community institutional software that allows us to track and trace institutional dark pool and delta information. And we have constantly displayed that to the general public, letting them know that CyberX is the level playing field that the retail trader, the average retail investor, has always looked for. They never know when to buy. They never know when to sell. They always are looking for retail indicators that never work because retail indicators offer you lagging data. Here in this community, we have built forward guiding data that shows us where resting liquidity, iceberg orders, deltas, dark pools sit in the market before they're executed, which I know is crazy to fathom, but it does exist. And I constantly try to play little video clips of individuals on stage mentioning dark pools so that way you're not just hearing it from what you would perceive to be an influencer on the internet trying to get you to subscribe to his program or his platform. No, these things actually exist. And we here at CyberX created a platform for you all to tap into this information. And I'm here in an aim to constantly show you how accurate this is. So coming over here, I said, you can feel the shift happening in the XRP community. People are getting tired of influencers selling dreams. They're looking for real education, real data, real market mechanics. Slowly but surely, more people are waking up. The era of blindly following Moonboy predictions is fading, and it's going to start fading very quickly as time continues to prevail. More investors, more traders are beginning to understand that market mechanics matter more than narratives. Real education will always outperform aimless speculation. And I said this in response to a new member of ours that just came into the community that said, hey guys, I'm a new member and I just wanted to say after today's price action breakdown on XRP, I truly need to start thinking things to the next or taking things to the next level by joining, in my opinion, the best trading group on the internet. I've been watching Cypress's videos for over a year now, and I can say for sure that this community is the reason why I've taken such a strong turn in my trading journey. I can't express the gratitude that I have for all the breakdowns all the breakdowns that get publicly uploaded. And now that I'm really here in the Discord, I'm ready to be a part of the winning circle from the inside. Love you all, and I'm excited to continue on this journey another step forward. And this was in response to something that I said on Twitter. So I posted this and I said, I wish more people spent time studying market mechanics instead of viral price targets. Understanding liquidity, stop loss cascades, hidden orders, and distribution explains far more than any $1,000 XRP price prediction ever will. Education compounds, hype expires. One conversation between two seven-figure day traders about market mechanics is worth more than 100 price prediction videos on YouTube. Liquidity, order flow, distribution, resting orders. Once you understand how institutions actually move markets, it's much harder to fall for Moonboy narratives. And this is on the backdrop of mine and Scalper's conversation in the Discord yesterday, where he was breaking down how the markets actually move. So I'm not going to sit here and read thoroughly through this. If you guys are watching this as a recording, it's publicly available. The conversation over on a couple snapshots of it at least are available over on my X. And then if you're in the Discord, of course, you have access to this conversation. But nonetheless, going off of the updates from recent videos on XRP, we have constantly been one of the only community groups that have accurately been tracking XRP's price action via our institutional software, the dark pools and the deltas. So now let's get into the update. Let me blow your freaking mind and show you guys how accurate this is and how it's forward-looking information, not lagging data. So if you would like to know these levels in advance, where it's, again, the best opportunity to buy from, the best opportunity to sell from, It's not a signals group. It is institutional data, and it is available to you to have. So this is back from June 18th, right? So what's today's date? The 27th. So almost 10 days ago, 10 days in advance. And I want you all to pay attention to specific digits in the XRP price here. So if you come down here, we can also see the 1.07943 dark pool. That matters, right? Because it would be I would say chuck it up to coincidence if I was just like, okay, XRP's price is going to hit $1.07. Okay, cool. So then when it goes down to $1.07, I can be like, haha, I told you so. No, look at the details. 1.07943. That part is important. All right. If we go over and we look at XRP's price right now, mind you, again, we sent this screenshot out to everybody on the 18th of June. Look at XRP's price right now. Look at how accurate this is. Look at the rejection that we just had on XRP today, as of time of recording, at the 107943 to the almost absolute freaking pip. Look at this. Here are the coordinates, 1.07943. Now, if we go back to June 18th, when this screenshot was sent out in our private group, so we come back here. This is where price action was, June 18th. That's June 18th price action. Look at where XRP, when it broke down sub almost below $1, look at the level that it retested. So it broke the 1.07943, retested it, trapped buyers, broke back beneath it, and created a delta held at the 0.07943. You can see that here. Here's previous bullish structure. Previous bullish structure, liquidity grab above internal liquidity highs, break of that previous structure, retest of the dark pool at the 0.7943, and then the sell-off happened. Y'all, this proves that there is an resting sell order or institution passively defending price at this level. And our software identified this 10 days in advance. Okay. So again, this is the new era of data that we're headed into. For the last 10 years of my career in crypto, because I've been here since 2016, it's been constant price prediction this, price prediction that. But now we're entering into an era of AI agents, AI takeover. Institutions are now T+1, T+0, instant settlement. All right. This whole notion of guessing and hoping for things is not going to get you anywhere. You need accurate data. You need good fundamentals. You need a solid understanding of how market mechanics work, regardless if you're just an investor or a day trader, if you want to survive into this new future that we are headed into. And CyberX is going to be a part of providing retail traders accurate information and data in terms of price analytics. And we're going to show people time and time again, if you've paid attention up to this part, but all that drawing little lines and trend lines and predicting with Fibonacci's, it's done. And if you don't have access to institutional data heading into this new era of finance, you again will likely fall victim to believing all the hypists, all the moon boys, all the price predictions that leave you guessing all the time or feeling empty because they never come into fruition. And we here in this community are building a path for people that are tired of that to actually take an initiative to becoming a profitable, real investor or day trader. All right. So that's my spiel. Let's continue to go on and let's just do this brief update. So now that we have broken the $0.07943 mark, the question now is can we see the buyers that have now recently made a formal attempt to absorb this sell volume below the $0.07943 level? Can we see that buy volume break back above aggressively this level and turn it into support and start to take out these highs or where buyers were previously trapped at the dark pools? And you can see that now in real time. So these up candles, if we go up to the higher time frame, understanding these candles, let's go to make it so it's really clear. We'll stay on the 4 hour. All right. So these up candles followed by these down moves at these dark pools, it's trapped buy liquidity. So this is a trapped buyer up candle that gets trapped by a seller or a passive seller at the dark pool at $1.11. Sellers then become aggressive and push price to the downside, and the buyer stop losses under here. The buy liquidity turns into more sell volume. Then we see it again, and we see it again. Where at? Here's a trapped buyer right at the dark pool at the 07943. So we know that there's a passive seller sitting at that dark pool. So if we want to see higher XRP price, we need to see the seller that is passively defending at the $0.07943 price right now. We need to see that seller overtaken or overpowered by buyers. And then we can start to look for higher levels. All right. Let me mute you guys. There's some background noise. So with that being said, with that logical analysis in mind, that if we want to see higher XRP price, we need to see the seller that is passively defending overpowered by aggressive buyers. That would look something like this. So the first bullish analysis where we can start to aim for a deeper XRP recovery, possibly back up into the next dark pool at $1.11 to $1.18, would be a sustainable break above the $0.07 threshold, a retest of that where we start to see previous sellers trapped, and then a continued firm push higher. That would be scenario number one. Scenario number two would be if the sellers that previously defended this level do attempt to defend again, buyers will have one more chance to attempt to defend the buy volume at the bottom of this current range, where we could see a retest of this range. Buyers again trap sellers like they most recently did, albeit I personally think that until we start to break above this previous sell pressure, this is just sellers taking profit into the new week. But we could see buyers defend and then commit to the same thing. A break above the $0.07 where previous passive sellers existed, turning those sellers now into trap sellers. Buyers then become aggressive, and we see price run higher. Those would right now be the only two bullish catalysts on XRP that I'm looking for before we can expect higher prices. And higher prices are not some bullish moonboy price prediction. We have levels we need to overcome where more passive sellers are going to make it an attempt to defend price. So right now to the upside, if we can see something like this on XRP and we can break sustainably above $1.18, then we can start to consider taking out $1.29 to $1.36 as our next hurdles. And coming into this new week's worth of price action, we'll probably have another update before that unfolds. So right now, a sustainable break above $1.07 and $1.11. $1.18 is going to definitely act as some resistance here. As we can see, a previous aggressive seller existed, breaking previous support, retesting it, and then trapping a buyer again once they made some formal attempt to defend and absorb that sell volume. That is definitely going to be a level and an area of interest or a dark pool where we're going to be mindful of price at. Up above $1.18, $1.29 to $1.36 remain the next hurdles. And then, of course, I always like to show you guys in case of some extremely bullish announcement or some bullish event where buyers become aggressive and risk appetite returns to the market, we could see an event where all of the sell walls that we're currently seeing up until $1.36 get broken. And if that were to unfold, we could definitely see a sell squeeze back up into the highs of around $1.57 to $1.62. All right. So for now, those are going to be our upside targets. To the downside, if we do see the sellers that exist around $1.11 to $1.07 defend, and we cannot see buyers sustainably break back above these areas and turn them into support, then again, the last line of defense is going to be roughly around $1.01. If we see this act as a resistance, we see this support broken, and we start to see price trade beneath this low, that is going to, again, open up that door for that 91-cent threshold. That 91-cent threshold I'm personally counting on. I'm going to buy a ton more of XRP if we can see price come into that level. I have some limit orders set just in case it happens, but at the same time, I've also recently taken advantage of the most recent decline in price, right? So I'm not waiting for this to happen. I'm hoping for this to happen in a sense of I'm prepared when it does, right? If it does. And I'm still taking advantage of the discounted prices. XRP since the beginning of the year is down 56%. I'm a long-term XRP investor and holder, and I plan to use my XRP in the DeFi ecosystem to generate yield. So buying at these discounted prices, considering where all-time highs were just a couple of months ago, in my personal opinion, is a good steal. All right, not financial advice. But if we do drop down into these lower levels on a failed attempt to break above $1.07 to $1.11, then to the downside, we have that 91-cent threshold to possibly 68 cents in an extreme fear scenario. I think that a yen carry trade unwind event would be a catalyst that takes us down into 68 cents, or maybe the Fed actually hiking rates 2 or 3 times in the next 6 months, which give or take depends on the data in the coming days. All right. So those are our downside targets for now. Our upside targets, of course, in order to see any higher prices on XRP, we first need to break back above $1.07 and $1.11 and start to trail back above $1.18 as our first major threshold before we can expect any higher prices on XRP. All right. So that is the most recent update. Hope that you guys have enjoyed the accurate analysis, level to level updates. And then again, if you guys are inside the Private CyberX Discord, make sure that you all are paying attention to the updates. Remember, crypto moves a lot slower than like NASDAQ or gold. So these get updated maybe once or twice per week, unless we see a major volatile event and we need to update them instantly on the day of. Then they get updated about once or twice per week. But if you all have currency pairs or assets that you trade or that you house in your portfolio that you want dark pools and delta information on, you can just come into the crypto section and you can ask Scalper for updates on any trading pair or currency that you would like. All right.